Welcome to another episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana. I'm Jim Merritt. We're here with Mark Legan at Legan Farms talking about weather and how they manage it. But first of all, Mark, talk a little bit about your family and how long you've been in the farming business and what you grow out here, and just to establish with all of our viewers who you are.
Okay, sure. Well, welcome to the farm, Jim, and certainly appreciate the opportunity. Our farm is a little unique in that we're a first-generation farm, meaning neither my wife or I grew up on a farm, and after I graduated from Purdue, was a cooperative extension agent for 7 years. Had the opportunity 30-some years ago to start farming, and things have kind of gotten out of hand. Today, our farm consists of myself, my wife, our daughter and her husband, and about 10 employees here. We grow corn and soybeans in a no-till system utilizing cover crops. Our main business is our swine enterprise, and we've got about 2,200 sows, produce about 60,000 pigs a year, and we've got some partnerships, one up in Boone County and one in Shelby County, that we finish those pigs out in.
Well, this podcast isn't about a debate about weather change or about climate change. It's actually man-made versus the natural rhythms of the weather through the years. But through the years, how has weather changed with you managing this farm?
Well, I think, we can go back in the beginning. Farmers have always been subject to the weather. And we like to think that there's things that we can control through management, and there's things we can't control. And certainly weather is one of those that we can't control. And as I look back, over my 32-year farming career, it does seem that we get more intense storms from time to time. And then, we had a horrific drought in 2012. How much of it's man-made, I don't know, but it does seem like that, we don't get too many half-inch to inch gentle rains. We get 1.5 to 2-inch rains that can cause some havoc in the fields.
And we're with Mark Legan at Legan Farms in Greencastle, near Coatesville, near Stylesville, near Fillmore, in Putnam County. How do you handle the idea of managing the weather, which is, if we had that, we would have a very sunny day on race day every year.
Right.
It's very hard to manage. And how do you manage how it deals you sometimes not the best hand?
Yeah, well, I think farmers today certainly have to be equipped to handle the acres and that they're farming. And for the most part, that means larger equipment. You've only got a certain number of days, and we talked about this 30, 40 years ago, certain number of days to get the work done in the spring, and then you start seeing yields decrease. So if anything, farmers probably are a little more over-equipped this year. It seems like that window gets shorter because of the intensity of the rains. But we think that our no-till and cover crop system helps us deal with the weather more. After harvest in the fall, we plant a cover crop, and it's largely a cereal rye base, and then that will grow, and it does several things over the winter. It helps build the soil profile, the soil health, feeds the microorganisms in the soil, keeps the soil in place and the nutrients in place and not washing off the farm. It also creates some macro channels. We feel like we get better rain infiltration when the rain comes. It helps break up compaction from the equipment in the fields. And then the same way with the no-till. We don't have to have another 2 tractors and plowing and disking and field cultivating before we plant in the winter. We will go out and terminate the cover crops, and we can see a cover crop field that's been no-tilled if you want. And then that allows us to be more timely, but it's also weatherproofing the soil, if you will.
So with all the crazy weather changes, you're able to manage as much as you can.
yeah, that's our goal, is to do what we can and deal with the hands that's given us. We're probably planting a little earlier on average than we were, and part of it's the hybrid and variety selection of the seed. But also, if we have warmer weather earlier, we can get it out. That causes some problems. We may have to replant a little more often. But even with, by planting the corn and a couple of days later getting a 2-inch rain, 30-degree weather like we had just last week or the week before, we're having to replant more crops than we were before.
Well, you can see that weather change, climate change, whatever you want to talk about, there's a debate between man-made and natural. But regardless, the farmers have to manage this. And as you know, in Indiana, we make and we grow, and we should never ever forget this. This is another episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana Podcast. Thank you very much.